live on Facebook. I'm setting up YouTube live right now, so we will just make sure everything's good to go here, and we'll see if anybody joins us before I start. I have to do a little shifting here anyway, so don't mind me as I do a little shifting, you guys. Okay. Hello, YouTube Live, and hello, Facebook Live. You're here with Miss Ashley again, and we're here for another STEAM Team Tuesday. This week, we're going to be talking about, will it dissolve? So we're going to be doing an experiment on solutes and solutes. Oh my goodness, why can't I think of the other word? Solvents, that's what it was. I didn't want to say it wrong because I have a tendency to do that. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So should we talk about vocabulary words first? I think that might be a good idea because some of you might be going, Miss Ashley, I have no idea what you're talking about. What is a solvent and what is a solution? Or what is a solute and what is a solvent? I don't know what you're talking about. So we have all these materials here. And on the side here, I have some water, I have some cool water, and I have some warm water. And these are going to be what we call solvents. So this is what solvents are, liquids that we use to dissolve our solutes. So if you could guess, these are going to be our solutes. So today we have some baking soda, some flour, some cornstarch, some salt, and some sugar. And I have these little baby sugar packets because that's all I could find here at the library. I also put pepper on our list, but I could not find pepper here at the library. So we switched it for some baking soda and some cornstarch, and we'll see how that goes. This is what experimenting is all about, you guys. We try different things and see what happens. So our goal today is that we're going to be making a solution. So a solution is when your solute dissolves into your solvent. So if our materials dissolve, that means we've made a solution. So that's going to be our goal today. We'll see if any of these things make a solution. So, oh, I forgot. Here on the side, I also have some plastic cups that you're going to need. You're going to need anything really that you think might dissolve in water. So if you don't have baking soda, you have baking powder, maybe give that a try. If you want to try pepper, even though I couldn't find it here at the library, I would love for you to try that. If you want to try something else, maybe something super silly, I'd love for you to give that a try and tell me how your results came out. So we are going to we're going to get our cups all set up, and we're going to observe all of our materials. Sorry if I keep going off screen here, Facebook Live. Okay, so let's get our cups ready. And it's going to look a little different here for you guys at home, or for you guys watching at home, than it does look for me. So you guys are probably going to want to set your cups up the same way I am. I set mine up in 2 rows. So I'm going to do 1 row for all my cool water and 1 row for all my warm water. And I can see them from up here. And if I lean down, I can see them from down here. But it looks a little funky for you guys at home. So let's take a look at, I'm going to take a look at my baking soda first because it's big and I want to get it out of the way. So I'm just going to take a look. This is what we're going to do to observe. We're just going to maybe go in and feel with our hands or notice what it looks like. So I notice that baking soda, when I touch it, it's kind of soft. It's white and it's powdery. If I wipe it off like this, feels kind of gritty on my fingers. So that's what observing our materials is going to be all about. So if you guys would like to get, your hands dirty and stuff, I definitely recommend that, because that's what scientists do with all of their materials. They observe them all. So I'm going to take my half tablespoon. I don't know if you guys can see that there at home, but mine says half a tablespoon. And I'm going to take half a tablespoon of the baking soda. And I'm going to put it in my first cup here. And remember, I have 2 rows. So I have 1 row for my cool water and 1 row for my warm water. So I'm going to take another tablespoon. And because we're going to want to try each thing with both cool water and warm water, I'm going to put it in a cup meant for my warm water. And I am doing this. This is definitely optional, so I didn't put it on the list of materials because you don't need to have this at home in order to do this experiment. But it is helpful to remember what you've put here in your cup. So I'm just using a little bit of masking tape, and you can even label right on your cup, or you can use, if you don't have, Sharpies or anything, you can use little bits of paper or Post-it notes and put it underneath your cup. I'm just going to write baking soda here. So I remember that I put baking soda in these first cups, just in case. Because we're going to be trying so many things, you guys, that we might forget. Okay. Oops. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to do flour next. So I'm going to roll up my sleeve because I might get a little dirty putting my hand in here. And I'm going to pick up my material again, and I'm going to observe it. So this is also white. I'm noticing this is also white. It's also powdery. And it's kind of gritty too when I, move it around on my fingers with very little left. So that feels kind of similar to me. It feels very similar to the baking soda, in my opinion. So I'm interested to see if they will do similar things in the water. So that's what observing is about. Oh, we have to put them in the cup before we close that up. Silly. Okay. Now, again, we're going to take the half tablespoon, and I'm going to put 1/2 tablespoon in a cup for cool water, and I'm going to put 1/2 tablespoon in a cup for warm water. Okay. If you guys do not want to use this many cups, that is totally fine. I am not near a sink here in the story time room. And I want to make sure that nothing disturbs my experiment, because sometimes if you have a dirty cup, that can ruin your experiment. But if you guys at home would like to reuse your cups, that's perfectly fine, as long as you make sure you rinse and dry them really well. All right, now we're going to use our cornstarch, and let's see what this one feels like. I noticed when I opened the box, it looks a little clumpier than the baking soda and the flour did. But it's really, really white. I think it's whiter than the flour and the baking soda. So, again, I pick it up, and I notice that it's white. It's powdery, but this one does not feel like flour or baking soda. I don't really like the feel of that one at all. It feels very silky. So I would be interested to see what you guys think it feels like and what your observations of these materials are. If you have any observations you'd love to share with me, I'd love to see them in the comments down below. All right, and again, we're going to put 1/2 tablespoon in a cup for cool water and 1/2 oops, tablespoon. I'm putting too much in this one. Half a tablespoon in a cup for warm water. You guys might want to smock, depending on how messy you get, because my hands are getting pretty powdery. Okay, we're going to put that to the side, and let's see. We have 2 more materials left. This one's going to be kind of hard to observe. We'll put it in the tablespoon first and then observe it, so it's a little less messy and wasteful. Okay, now we're going to take our salt, and for this one, I'm going to pour it over the cup, just in case. We don't want to get it in any of our other ones. We don't want to get it in our cornstarch cup or in our cup we're going to put the sugar in, because that would ruin our experiment. So I'm just going to make sure I slowly pour in half a tablespoon, excuse me, into a cup for cool water. And I'm going to use another half a tablespoon. I don't know why I keep saying teaspoons. All right, and before I put this one in the cup for warm water, I'm just going to, observe it first and touch it and, see what is the same or maybe different than the other materials. So this one is also very white, but when I pick it up, it is definitely not powdery. It is definitely grainy and gritty, and this one makes a sound when I pour it in the cup. So this one definitely has a different texture than our other ones so far. Okay. Now for our last one, I'm not going to measure it with the tablespoon, because they already come in these little packets. I've stole them from our coffee room. So if you guys at home have sugar, you probably have sugar like you have it, like the salt, so you can just pour it in your tablespoon. Before I do that, I'm going to observe my sugar. And I see that there's little clumps. It looks very similar to the salt, but our grains are bigger. The granules of sugar are bigger than the salt. And there's little sugar balls. So it's clumped together a little bit. All right. And let's put it in one for the warm water. And again, I see a lot of little sugar balls. Okay. Now, you guys, this is the part where we're going to make some predictions. This is what being scientists is all about. Hopefully, I don't have cornstarch in my hair now. We are going to make a chart or a graph, but I think we're going to be making, here we go. Sorry, guys, I forgot where I put my whiteboard marker. All right, so remember what a solute is? Whoop, sorry. I made a makeshift whiteboard here. This is my story time card. A solute is the materials that we are going to be trying to dissolve with our solvent, which is our water. So we have salt, flour, sugar, baking soda, and cornstarch. So we're going to make some predictions. If you guys at home would like to make your own chart, that is awesome. But if you guys would like to put some comments in the comment description to see maybe what you guys think your predictions are, we're basically going to predict, do you think that these solutes are going to dissolve in the water or not? So for salt, what do we think? Do we think that that is going to dissolve in the water? I'll give you guys a second if you want to put in any comments. But if not, I'm going to make my own prediction. I think that the salt is going to dissolve. I'm going to try to write without dropping the whiteboard again. Okay. All right. And does anybody have any predictions on our flour? Our flour we have here. Do you guys think that that will dissolve in the water? I think it might. You use flour for baking, so sometimes you use it for what's something liquidy that you bake? Brownies. So I think that it might dissolve. We'll have to see. All right, and then we have our, nope, our sugar's right here. We have our sugar. Do you guys think that this is going to dissolve in the water? That's also used for baking. So is salt. A lot of these are used for cooking. I've just realized that we have here. So I'm going to say that I think it might dissolve. So I'll write that again. It's a little crooked because I'm writing crooked, but it's okay. All right, baking soda. Do we think that that might dissolve in the water or not? I just realized I forgot to label all my cups, you guys. It's okay. I think that the baking soda will dissolve. I'm going to rate that it's going to dissolve. All right, what do you guys think about cornstarch? Do you guys think that cornstarch might dissolve? I don't know. I kind of think that for that one, I'm going to put it will not. We'll see, though. This is a fun part about experimenting. Okay. I'm just going to quickly just put a little tape here and make sure I remember where everything is. Or what everything is, I should say. And this is why I should have labeled them as we went. That's okay. All right, now we have our rows ready for water. So let's take our cool water first. And I have a couple cups on the side here because my pitcher of water, again, because I'm not near a sink here in the story time room, my pitcher of water does not quite have a good lip and I don't want to spill anything anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into this cup here, just here for my benefit at the story time room. You guys can pour it directly into your cup if you would like. And I'm just going to pour cool water on the first row here, closest to you guys on the camera. Now you want to make sure your water's not cold, not, warm. You want to make sure this is cool. Because we want to make sure there's a temperature difference for both. Oh boy, I see stuff happening already. I better move. Okay. Now, I'm done with my cool water row. And we have our warm water. So we're going to take this and we're going to do the same exact thing. And we're just going to pour the warm water over each of our solutes. Okay. All right. And now we just wait. We have to wait for about 30 more seconds. And we can start with the cool row. You should wait 60 seconds in total, but because I did it all kind of in one so that you guys didn't have a super long video at home, You guys can do it one at a time at home if you would like, or you can do it like me. But because this one started a little bit sooner than these ones, we're going to just give it a little bit more time to see what happens. And if you would like, we can observe what they look like as we are waiting. So I can already see, and I know you guys can see that real nice on YouTube Live. I think you can see it really nice on Facebook Live. You can see the clarity of some of these. So this one with the sugar looks really clear. It almost looks like there's nothing in there at all. Same with baking soda. The baking soda and water looks pretty cool. So, but then we have one like this one, the salt and the water, and that one looks really murky or cloudy. The water looks really cloudy. I'm trying to bend over and see if I can see anything there. I don't. I think I might see a little bit at the bottom. Kind of looks like sand. All right. So I think it's probably been about a minute. I should have put a timer on to be exact. If you would like to be exact at home, feel free to put a timer on. But unfortunately, I'm using all my devices to record right now. So we are going to take a look. And for this part, you might want to get on eye level with your things because sometimes it might be a little hard, but we're going to see if there's anything left at the bottom and if there's a difference between our cool water and our warm water. So right off the bat, I see that our cool water and flour did not make a solution. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a big clump of flour just floating around in there. So that did not make a solution. There is a little clump here too. Our warm water dissolved it a little bit more, but it still didn't quite make a solution. Because if you tip the bottom and you look underneath, there is a clump of flour here too. So that did not quite dissolve. Let's look at the salt. So the salt with the cool water, it's really hard to tell, huh? So I'm looking at the bottom again to see if I can see any of our solute at the bottom, and it looks like there's still a little bit of salt. Do you guys think that maybe the warm water dissolved the salt a little bit more? Let's check. I think they're about the same. So on this one, I see it almost looks like sand at a beach if you were to put sand in water. It looks just like it really didn't dissolve at all, but it just made the water murky. And then let's see. I'm sorry, that was cornstarch, not salt. This one was the salt. Okay, so it does look like it's dissolved a little bit, but if I look underneath, I still see little granules of salt. So this did not make a solution either. And what about our warm water? Warm water has been tending to dissolve things a little bit more. So there's definitely less salt in this cup with the salt and warm water, but there's still some salt in there right at the bottom. So it did not quite dissolve all the way. Maybe if we leave it in there for a little bit longer, it might dissolve all the way. If you guys want, you guys can do this experiment a little longer and maybe do 2 more minutes and check back and see if anything has dissolved more or has completely dissolved. That would be pretty cool. Let's do this one because this one is baking soda and cool water. So the water looks pretty clear. But if you look at the bottom, the baking soda is still sitting there. Let's check with the warm water. There's just a little bit left at the bottom. So there's still some, but it's not quite yet dissolved. All right, let's look at the sugar. The sugar, I'm very excited about, you guys. Oh my goodness. All right, this is the sugar with the cool water. If I look underneath, there's just a little bit of granules left. I wonder if our warm water has completely dissolved. We have a winner. You guys, this one is, we did the sugar with the warm water, and this one has completely dissolved. So we have successfully made a solution with the sugar and the warm water. So if you guys have dissolved anything else from your kitchen at home, and I would love to know, especially how your results came out. So, we have to write our results. So, from what we saw, did our salt dissolve in the water? Nope, not quite. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to write did not for short. And our flour was the one that had a big clump at the bottom. I think that one did probably the worst. It did not dissolve very well at all. And then we had our sugar. Remember, that was the one that dissolved, so we can write yes. Oh, or it did dissolve. And our baking soda was right here. Oops. And it looks like since we've waited, it's dissolved a little bit more, but it hasn't dissolved all the way yet. So again, if you're at home, I'd love to know if you wait a little bit longer, if it completely dissolves. And last but not least, our cornstarch, and that one did not dissolve either. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today at the Cromwell Belden Public Library. We will be scheduling some more STEAM Team Tuesdays in, I believe, September, so keep your eyes peeled for those. Thank you so much, and I hope you had a blast doing this experiment with me. Bye. Oh, I want to push. There we go.